stuff.
So for people who are not familiar with bioregulators, how would you define that?
Yeah. So, peptides are like the protein, which are chains of amino acids. Arbitrarily, if it's less than 40 or 50, depending on what group you talk to, it's a peptide. But you look at the majority of peptides that we utilize are shorter than that, but they're generally attached to the cell surface, which then have secondary messengers and have pleiotropic effects. They have multiple effects. They kind of have like a supplement effect rather than a med, tend to have a very narrow, which actually you think would be safer, but it actually makes it more dangerous and risk for side effects. But like supplements, kind of like food, they have multiple effects. The peptides are just, they're more specific, but also much more potent. Now, bioregulators are a peptide, but a subset. They're, by definition, need to be 2 to 4 amino acids long because they are totally bioavailable as long as they're capped. So the body, because the big thing is the peptides haven't caught on for a big reason. Everyone goes, oh, that's going to break down in the gut, right? But if the body needs a peptide or even a protein, it will cap it. It will acetylate it and amidate the ends. Now, the enzymes do not attach to it and break it down. It also makes it much more bioavailable. And so if you cap those, which were all the peptides we use are all capped, and then there's like stable BPC, which is, they had the patent on acetylated capped BPC. It ran out. So they came out with a BPC salt and called it stable BPC, which is brilliant, but it really should be unstable BPC, the arginine BPC. It's nuts. And so they'll go, and they work differently. They're very bioavailable, go through the gut, and in the blood, serum, and then go into the cell and into the cell nucleus. And they'll attach to activators, inhibitors, and they'll modulate the basically transcription. So they work epigenetically, and they turn genes on, turn genes off. And the nice thing is they very much tend to turn on the healthy genes, the anti-inflammatory genes, the younger genes, and turn off the aging genes, and that. And so very protective, exceedingly safe. Most of them take 1,000, 100, 1,000, 10,000 times a dose, and it's nothing. Try that with water, you're dead. They also work at nano and picograms, which were, a basically 0.0 with 9 ones and a 1, less than a milligram, and they're effective. So talk about a therapeutic range is crazy. So, and people are always like, oh my God, how do I do this? There's so many. I mean, you can't screw up, really. I mean, I'll say that with a couple caveats, but it's so rare to have a significant side effect. With that said, Lyme patients, Sears patients, like even a supplement like glutathione or something, I would tell them, look at it for a week, smell it for a week, lick it, and then take, 1/100th of it, and they still react. So they can react to some of the generally peptides, and like peptides, I think people react mostly to are probably discretadox or growth hormone. But even though they'll react to like KTD.
What kind of reactions?
Oh, like, just don't tolerate it, a kind of a Herxheimer reaction.
I see.
Yeah. And like KPV, which is anti-inflammatory, but it boosts the immune system, antimicrobial. I mean, they'll even react to that, which is pretty amazing. BPC 157, probably the most, common one that people use. But some people do get a little anxiety with it, and it can be activating. So, you go slow, but in general, normal people, we are not, occasionally people can react, but people, when a patient says, I'm sensitive, you need to listen to that, It's like, oh, yeah, no problem. Here you go. And then they have a huge reaction. So